in listen-only mode.
Welcome everybody to this special webinar this evening, Feng Shui Mastery for Relationships. So it's 5 Feng Shui keys to attract that special relationship. So it's going to be a different webinar from that which we did for wealth. Once again, it all comes back down to that special ingredient, energy. And that's what Feng Shui in essence is all about, is how you harness your energy and the energy in your environment to enable you to live your life to the fullest and to the very nth of what it is you want to attract into your life. So who hasn't drawn a picture like this or similar in their childhood? How important is it for children to have a secure, safe, protective environment, such as the one in the picture? And of course, it doesn't matter what nationality you are or culture, it all comes back to someone feeling safe within their own life, their own perception of their world. And you can see how it's not just about the internal environment, it's also the external, the special road leading up to that door here. You know, it's almost like the yellow brick road. But I put this in because it just demonstrates how important our perception of our environments are when we are very, very young, and what opportunities they afford us in and around where we live, as well as what happens within the doors when we close them. And you can see how, you know, when we're drawing our homes, how important they are, that there's a meticulousness there to the curtains and the colours we use. And, you know, it just demonstrates how important our environments are to us, not just when we're young, but throughout our life, and how they can actually, in many ways, gerrymander what it is we want from our lives, aspirations, our perceptions of our own reality. And it comes back, the road leads back to not only our front door, but what's inside. And this is the essence of Feng Shui, and that is today's webinar. We're looking at obviously the concept of love, and what we want to attract from that special relationship, but it's also telling us that there are 2 ingredients in all the Feng Shui ideas, and that is yin and yang. And how can you attract the kind of energy that you want in your life where it creates a balance? So if you're a yang person that is quite extrovert, quite maybe vocal, colourful, dynamic, you know, how many of 2 of those can exist and still attain a balance? Obviously, we shift throughout our lives, we shift throughout the day, so you're not always going to be in a yang stage. Likewise, the yin person is more one akin to yielding. So that often is perceived as a submissive stance. But actually, having travelled throughout the world and seeing how particularly the women are supposed to be submissive in certain cultures and countries, I see actually that there is a great strength within the yin, apparent yinness of the being. So you can't have one without the other. It's just that it's hidden. And so when it comes to relationships, you know, it almost is like a dance. And this is for both same-sex relationships or opposite sex relationships. It doesn't matter. It's about the energy that's exuding from those individuals. So here's a lady who took on some of the teaching that I was doing and implemented it. And the interview with her is on fengshuimasteryshow.com. It's really very interesting and fascinating what she was telling me. And this is why I love teaching all of this, because I learn so much myself from the students who come back and say, it's like this, it's like that. And she brought up some really quite salient points about, especially about the space clearing, but we look at all the other aspects as well about clutter and how it obstructs our flow in our life, space clearing, the patterns that we have set up in our environment, how to cleanse them. And that one in particular was interesting. She was talking about ritual and how important that is, location, what is it you're looking at, the compass points, timing. This is an aspect that no one really thinks about in Feng Shui, and that is being in the right place at the right time. And then for power points, which are the most important part of your environment. So who is this webinar for? Well, it's not just for people who want to attract a special relationship, it's for people in existing relationships also. Maybe they're going through a bad stage, maybe there's a conflict there, something has arisen and it's created a fracture. Maybe you're walking a tightrope with somebody, walking on eggshells. There's an iceberg underneath the waters, that apparent quiet waters, but you know it's there and it's not right. The energy doesn't feel right. It's for people who want to attract a good match. Maybe they're just setting off in their life and wanting to attract a special person into their life. It's for those people who are about to get married, people who are getting engaged. Unfortunately, maybe people who are getting a divorce, or fortunately, in some people's eyes, they're getting a divorce. People who are having to let go, they're grieving. And, this is a great webinar for them because it's about moving over, shifting into a different dynamic and moving on. That's really very important. Maybe you've met the right person, but it was the wrong time. It just didn't suit. Something else was going on. Something else was distracting you from that moment. So it's about getting the right timing, and this is the webinar for you. Maybe you're in one part of the world and the other person's, if you're in the UK and someone's in Australia, it's just not the right location. Even with all the technology, how long can you sustain something that is just budding? People's energies fall away, something else comes along, and then it's gone. And then those people who consistently get mismatches, this is the webinar for you. If you are attracting the same patterned people all the time, they manifest the same foibles, they manifest the same attitudes. This is the webinar for you because maybe there's something that you need to shift within yourself that attracts that. And one way of shifting that in yourself is shifting what's around you. Because if I asked you to change directly within, you wouldn't know what that was. But when you set up something in the environment that reminds you of where you want to be and go and who you want to attract in, then that automatically focuses you and the mismatches fall away. So just to remind you of what we've discussed in the past about Feng Shui, the basic tenets of Feng Shui have come from a book called the Book of Changes, the I Ching. It's a Taoist philosophy, and the principles are universal. They're not just akin to Chinese culture. Feng and Shui mean wind and water, so they're both about the flow. It's all both about visible and invisible energies. It's where the visible world meets the invisible world, where the world of science meets the world of art. And the yin and yang symbol is integral to the philosophy, but when we look at the yin-yang symbol closer, they break down to 5 elements. So it's a close investigation into earth, water, fire, metal, and which one have I missed out? Wood. So each of those 5 energies have a different feeling and a different energy to them, and it's having a balance of them that will alert you to maybe there's a shortage of one. Maybe you're a person who's got lots of fire, but you've got no water in you or no metal. And this is what affects relationships. So our ultimate aim is to create harmony and balance by attracting the good chi and doing away with the sha energy. And people say, oh, energy, well, there's no evidence of that. I can't see it. to the naked eye. But all these examples here indicate to us how important the invisible world is, more important to us than the visible world, because it's the invisible world that's actually running the show often in our lives. You can't see your emotions, you can't see your perceptions, but that's all the time driving you as to what it is that you're attracting in your life. So we look at the pyramids and other architectures right across the world. They've all been designed to create a feeling in the people that are looking at it. People who've had amputations, they're missing limbs, but guess what? They can still feel that their limb exists. So what's the difference between seeing a limb and not seeing a limb? Well, of course you can walk, but what is it in us that's telling us we've still got that limb? And is there anything in your environment that you can't see to the naked eye, but is there? Not talking about ghosts, I'm talking about a feeling. So who am I? Well, I've been in over 1,000 homes for both medical purposes as a health professional and for Feng Shui. I don't want to go into all the different places I've lived or the cultures that I've visited, but sufficient to say that I've seen people from all kinds of different communities operate in a way that they have a great respect for the land, and often they employ rituals to praise that land and to ask them to nurture it. And it's this kind of connection with the land and then subsequently their property that gives a sacredness to where they live. And often right across the world we see people failing to have that connection with their environments, even though properties are extremely expensive in the Western world. We may put all this money into it, we may pour all this energy into it with the new furniture and everything, but where is the heart? Where is the respect? And where is the gratitude for having a shelter and having a protection that that is in the property itself, is in the land? I've also done lots of teaching up and down the country. Done teaching obviously online, but I've also been teaching on a complementary medicine degree course up in the north of England, and done some teaching spots in Australia also. And ultimately, it's the results. It's the results that actually spur me on, because I get people coming back and they're saying, I did this and this is what happened, I did that. One example was the lady Karina on the interview. This is an apartment that I rent out. I've had people from all over the world stay there. I've had film crew come and do some filming in there, and there's something there that they want to capture. Now, I don't know what that is, but they know what it is that is attracting them. So can you see that it's not always something that is tangible? It's a setting up a code that's invisible. And I say to you, how do you set up that code in your own environment to attract that special relationship? Because the premise of this webinar really is, like Rumi says, your task is not to seek for love. Don't look for it outside of you, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So within your internal architecture, within you, and within your environment, there are obstacles, there are distractions, there's lack of focus that does not reflect back to you a feeling of love, a sense of love. Now, I don't know if you can get that concept, but I think that often our environments and our internal beings are frozen. We're frozen in time. And if you look at a lot of the literature that's been written, even Charles Dickens wrote about it, Oscar Wilde wrote about it, the frozenness of emotions over a period of time. They become so frozen that we forget to melt. And it's only upon melting that we realise that what the thing we're seeking has always been there. So let's have a look at some of these keys, shall we? So the first Feng Shui key is the past, and that is all about letting go. But however, it's difficult to let new things into your life if you are over spilling already. So your cup is already full. And as the Zen master says, doesn't he? He says, I can't teach you anything new because your cup is overflowing. So it's all about emptying yourself. So emptying your home, basically, and emptying yourself of old letters, emails that are stored on your computer related to people that are no longer there, whether it's lovers or potential partners. Items related to sadness, let them go. Anything that's chipped, let it go. Broken antiquities, things that we hold on to of the past. I know somebody who he's got his mother's stuff in storage. He's had it in there for 15 years. 15 years, but one day he's going to be doing something with it. One day he's going to leave it to a son or a daughter that he doesn't see. So can you imagine the amount of money that has cost him? And this person hasn't got any money, but he spills out roughly about £150, £200 a month on something that is stored, blocked energy. Anything with memories of loss. Now, I'm not saying get rid of all your photographs of your parents, your grandparents, your family, because there is a place for them, and that's in the East where you are honouring your ancestors. And the Chinese are very, very hot on this. The most important is to look after the elderly, because they believe that how you do often determines the quality of life that you will have also. So I'm not saying get rid of photographs of old. I'm saying that there's a place for that, but I am saying anything to do with people who are love connections, they have gone, and you have to move on. So letters of old, loves of old, photos that are no longer of that person who maybe you were married to, they've gone. Photos of ancestors, you will put them in the East. Once again, coming back to this, is this you? I know people will be shifting themselves in their chair now or on their feet, because the big yellow self-storage, can you see those words? It's called self-storage. That means you are on hold. You're frozen. You're not going anywhere because all your stuff is in storage. I have done this myself, that's why I can speak about it. I put stuff in storage for I think 2 to 3 years. Cost me £3,000, and I don't know where any of that stuff is. Some of it got lost. Some of it did go into property that I rent out, but whilst the stuff is in there, it's reminding you all the time that you're not flowing and you're not moving on. So I urge you to look at that and reconsider. So looking at the obstructions in and around your home or office, is this the kind of energy that you want to attract into your life? It's blocked, it's lost, it's frozen, even the clock there is stopped. And someone who appears to have apparent order in their chaos, that's not necessarily the answer neither, because there is no space here for new things to come in. And this person had singular pictures of women scattered around this room, but he didn't have anybody in his life at that time. You don't want to be putting TVs in your bedroom neither, along with all the other clutter. It's just very mismanaged. I mean, how on earth could you ever sleep well in a bedroom like this, when the whole function of the bedroom is to rejuvenate and repair the previous day's energetic behavior, so this is all chaotic, and there's quite a lot of deity pictures here, and there is a place for that. That's more to do with the northeast, because that's where the energy of the self-knowledge and the religious fervor or belief system, the energies of that lie in the northeast, not necessarily in the bedroom. So the TV also is reflecting back images that you don't also want to create. The TV is very there's a lot of electromagnetic energy, so that's why a lot of people have insomnia and they don't realize it, is that there's too much electricity buzzing around the bedroom or the bed, and that does not allow the cells to rest. So the cells are on alert all the time. That's why people wake up feeling they haven't slept at all. Once again, chaos rules, and now I'm not saying everybody's got a bedroom like this, but these are some of the extremes that I have discovered. And it's interesting, just to go back to that one previously, that the guy there, he was left a house with all the clutter belonging to his mother. And this guy, in every room, it was full to the brim with clutter. I even went over to Ireland to assist this person, and they made a good headway with the clutter clearing and the space clearing, but this person never had a special relationship in his life. It was very archaic. It never seemed to flow. And it's interesting how, the rooms continue to be jam-packed with old stuff belonging to his mother. Once again, this is the New York apartment, very busy and very little space to attract new energy into that person's life. Not like this place where there is space. I took this photograph in Cyprus in a hotel because it dawned on me how these pots, just sitting there on their own, they've got nothing in them. And this comes back to the whole Zen thing of creating a space so that, new things can come into your life. But ultimately, the whole message of step 1 is let go. Let go of everything that you no longer need in your life. The old photographs, the memorabilia, the things you're never going to use, the things that are stored in your garage. One day I'm going to need this, one day I'm going to need that. You only ever have one day anyway. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? So, the benefits of dealing with step 1 is that you're going to get a greater focus on what it is you want to attract into your life, greater clarity, and you're going to start to feel lighter. Now, when you start to feel lighter, somebody else is going to pick up on that lightness, and they're going to feel good around you. You're going to melt inside. And because you start to melt that frozenness, you create space for yourself to act. Or space for new people or a special person to come into your life. Feng Shui key number 2, the energetic web. This is all of us. We all spin our own web. May not be with such great precision as this, but at the end of the day, with our thinking and our actions, we spin a web, we spin a story. It's our life story. And where is it you want to spin your web towards? What is it you want to attract? Who do you want to thread into your life? Not catch as though they're a prisoner, by the way, like a spider, but to thread the weft and warp of material. Who would you like to be part of that tapestry of your life? Well, this guy, he said, if you want to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration, Nikola Tesla. And I really resonate with what he has to say, because this is Feng Shui. If you want to understand it, you've got to look at energy, frequency, and vibration. These are the 3 aspects to Feng Shui. How you create an energy in your environment, the frequency of it, that is the vibration, how fast is it? How fast is it resonating? Think about something that is very slow. You've been into a place where, people are low morale. The plants are dying. There's no colour in the environment. Think about that. Then go to another environment where there's plenty of colour, and the people are buzzing, and there's laughter and humour, and the plants are flourishing. They're the two extremes of energy, frequency, and vibration. You see, here's another example of vibration. This is where, when we hear sounds and we put sand on a particular, it's called a metal copper frame, then it actually makes a shape and a design that is along with the vibration of that frequency. So whatever sound was happening, this is the vibration that was happening as a result. And here we have yet another one. Now you may want to ask yourself, what was happening here? Just take a look at that and see what kind of sounds must have been happening to create that elaborate pattern. And it's the same, not only for sound, but also for your environment. What is in your environment that creates a pattern? Now, in this instance, we can see the pattern, can't we? Because it's on a sheet of copper metal and it's sand. But what about the patterns that you can't see? And Dr. Emoto, he, I know, passed away recently, but he did all the research on patterns of water molecules and when they're frozen, how they crystallize. And the process of that was determined by the thoughts that were creating the water patterns. And he noted that the thoughts that were negative, the patterns were not as elaborate as those were when people were happy. And people were happy that they created much finer, intricate structure. And this is his book, The Hidden Messages of Water. You can always go on to read that and find out more yourself. So this is more, well, still visible, but not to the naked eye so much. This is what his research discovered. So what if there was a frozenness in your heart and you couldn't see it, and your environment was also frozen? And it's interesting, I came across a family I went up to see in Manchester. The lady called me in, and she couldn't tell her husband she was calling me in because he was an accountant and didn't believe in all that. So it had to be very discreet. But when I got there, obviously there was some kind of conflict in the relationship, and pictures on the wall, I asked who they belonged to, and she said it was the husband. But all the pictures were of frozen pictures, snow, icy pictures. And I often wondered whether, this was the problem in the relationship, that he was just too frozen emotionally to enjoy the relationship with what was, or appeared to me to be, a very bubbly and nice lady. So once again, it comes back to, what is your heart resonating? I'm not just talking about the actual organ of the heart, but around it we have cells. They beat a certain rate. This heart math is called coherence. So when you are beating at a certain rate, there is a certain vibration that resonates out into the atmosphere. And, when we don't feel a certain way, maybe we feel down or blocked or frozen, that resonance is not beating, it's not exuding. So how can we melt that? Well, let's first of all look at space clearing. We need to get rid of the patterns of the people who possibly lived in your environment before you moved in. Now, we can't see them, but the the idea of Dr. Emoto is also about water holds memory. That's why the thoughts in the water when they were frozen created different images. But in all of our houses we have water, and water holds memory. So they create a pattern. So if you haven't space cleared your property, then the pattern of the previous people and how they thought is still evident, but you can't see it. And it's not just the previous people. What about your own self-sabotage defeating patterns? Wouldn't you like to cleanse them and start afresh again? So there are a whole load of different procedures that you can actually implement to cleanse that space. Because it could be that you're hanging around a different energetic feeling of somebody that you've just lost recently, whether it's a death, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a divorce, and you keep on attracting a certain pattern. So you can look into this and find out ways and means of actually carrying out this ritual, because this is what the native Indians and a lot of the other cultures in the Far East always do. They always cleanse a space. They would never do what we do, and that is move into a space without cleansing it first. And it's not just about vibration in terms of what we can't see, but we're looking at a multi-million-pound industry where we concoct not a remedy, it's a concoction of formulas to do with aromas, and aromas exude a certain feeling. So in the world of blending of essential oils and perfumes, we have what's called low notes, we have what's called high notes, we have what's called middle notes. And the perfumers, they blend the oils according to how somebody wants to feel, which is why it's a multi-million-pound industry. Why? Because when people put oils on, or they put perfumes on, they want to feel a certain way. They want to communicate a message to somebody who they want to attract into their life. So some of the musky, sandalwood, grainy aromas that the men exude are different from the flowery, floral, sexual, sensual aromas that the women exude. So can you see how the energy of oils and aromas, we can't see them. We can't see an aroma, but we can surely use our sense of smell. And it's that sense of smell that conveys a message to all of us. Of course, it's all different to all of us because we're all made up differently in terms of chemistry. But can you see how the invisible world here is also working? So what aromas do you have in and around your own home that gives you a feeling of sensuality, gives you a feeling of upliftedness, elevation? When you invite somebody home, do you want them to be smelling the bacon and eggs? Or do you want them to be smelling a sense of upliftedness, a great feeling of love? And you've only got to read the book, The Perfume, to determine how manipulative and how strong the use of aromas can be on people's emotions. The book sums it up. So whilst we can't see them, we can smell them and we can almost feel them. And I myself, as an aromatherapist, have had many a stranger come up to me and comment on the aroma in a positive way, may I add. So once again, we've got crystals as well. How crystals can also change the energy of a room or a building. When you have these hanging in your window where the light hits the facets of the crystal, it displays a whole rainbow effect all around the room. So when you walk in from home after work, or when you're going out, depending on where it's hanging, east or west, how amazing does that make you feel? And you haven't done anything. The sun has done it all. It's walked, it's used its rays into the crystal, and it has displayed this amazing rainbow effect, which is moving, by the way, usually. How amazing is that? and all these other crystals of the earth that exude a certain energy. So you can use all these kind of means and ways of shifting that energy in your own environment so that you feel lighter. You want to feel light and empty. You don't want to feel heavy and burdened. So that you have your control of your own heart in your own hand. And you exude what it is that you want to. So that you're not being dictated by the environment. And it's telling you, not subliminally, it's telling you how to feel. So the benefits of space clearing is that you are actually going to feel the difference. You're not going to see the difference, you're going to feel the difference. It's going to help you make an energetic shift so you start to feel lighter, less burdened, and that is exuded through how you become. You alter the vibration in which you communicate with people, and it's through that that you actually connect with a special person. And now that you're unfrozen because you've actually changed your environment by space clearing it, by removing the clutter, by putting in certain colours and using crystals and rainbow crystal effects, you're starting to be able to reflect the love in your environment. Feng Shui key number 3, timing. An aspect of Feng Shui very few people get to know about, but it's very important. And whilst a whole webinar has already been devoted to the concept of timing, I want to just bring your attention to the fact that Feng Shui has numbers. It's like a numerology, Chinese numerology, but the numbers all have an energy, just like the colours that we've talked about, vibration, then numbers also have that same kind of quality. And what you're looking to do is you're looking to go with your own numerical flow. So if you're assigned a number based on your date of birth, then that will indicate to you which way you need to flow through your years. Because everything's in cycles. There is no beginning and no end. We're taught in the West, you begin on a line of A and you end up in Z. No, you don't. It's all about the concept of cycles in the Taoist system. And all things come back to the beginning, but usually at different levels. So it's almost like a spiral. And how you orientate yourself in your life will help you and assist you to know what to focus on in a particular year or particular month. So it's your road and yours alone. And whilst you may have friends and family that walk it with you, no one can walk it for you. So this now is an invitation to find out what your number is and walk down that road yourself, confident that you're going in the right direction. And this is all about numbers. Based on what number you are, you will sit in a certain box. This is called the low shoe square box. And it's an ancient system. This is not something made up by Subido or something like that. This is ancient system, and 4,000 years old, as I said. And each of these numbers have a different energy to them, and they follow a certain route. So each time they move, they're going into a different energy system. So in box 1, you're starting off a new journey. So you decide what kind of journey you want to start off for that year. When you move into year 2, you're just germinating your new ideas, and so on. When you come to year 9, here we have what's called, I like to call it the trophy moment, where you shine a light on all the achievements that you've had acquired in the previous 8 years. So it's like an Oscar moment, your time to shine. So I've just put pictures in here. Basically, this is where you're starting your journey. This is to do with the energy of love, but also love of what it is that you're planting. You're planting seeds. 3 is all about health, and so on. I can't go into all of them. And then this is box 8, which is to do with going inside, what you believe in, what how you're shifting your thoughts, the bigger picture, whether it's spiritual or religious, is up to you. Once again, we come back to the Oscar moment, the end year, which is 9, the fire year. The light is shining on you. So basically, this system allows you to find out what year you're in and what to focus on. It's not saying you can't do anything else in that year. It's just saying this is the year of this kind of energy. And here we have the movement of these numbers all the way through from 2014 to 2022. And as you can see, I'm a number, well, I'll tell you, I'm a number 5. So I'm shifting each year, I'm shifting to a different box. So a different box is actually telling me where I'm going to be. Now, you may think, oh, I don't believe in all that. Well, that's great, but do you know what it does? It gives you a great perspective and a great focus, and it just gives you a flow. So you don't miss out on any of the 9 aspects of your own life. You create a balance. So the benefits to using this system is that you're going to use and pull on the energy for that year. You can plan ahead for love. So that means that you can focus on, if this is the year where you're dealing with your health, you want a healthy relationship. If this is the year that you're looking at business, creating connections within that business network, that's maybe where you're likely to find someone in the love arena, that special relationship. So it's helping you to go with the flow of the energies of that year and become aware of each year having a different force. So you know yourself, some years you've had really, really bad luck perhaps, or how you construe it as bad luck. But then other years, it's flowed, it's gone really well. I myself last year had a year of quite interesting. It was very challenging, but it was only challenging because I was fighting it. But once I lay back and just thought, right, okay, let's see where it goes, then it started to flow much easier. So can you see how using these numbers can actually give you an insight? And it really is helpful for building goals, managing time, and personal development as well. Feng Shui key number 4, PowerPoints. Which are the most PowerPoint areas in your home? We're going to look at the kitchen, the bedroom, and your front entrance. You see, first of all, let's just look at the bedroom. The bedroom is very important because it's where you recharge, and we're talking about relationships, so it's where things should happen that you want to happen in a way that is attractive for you. You don't want conflict in there, do you? And by having this metal, you see this metal mirror here? It's very jagged at the ends, and the energy is very jarring. It almost looks like a bit of a guillotine. So that's not the kind of imagery you'd want in your bedroom. You also are going to be doubling that danger because mirrors double everything. And that's why in the Feng Shui thinking that when you have a mirror attracting or doubling, reflecting what's here, it's said that it brings in an additional force, one other additional force. And, you don't always want a third entity in the bedroom, so to speak. So it is beneficial that mirrors aren't facing the bed or doubling up at the side of the bed. You don't necessarily want any TVs staring at the bed neither, because they serve as a mirror reflecting back. And you don't want a lot of electrical magnetic apparatus in here, because it actually does affect your quality of health. And if your quality of health and sleeping is affected, then you're not going to look the way you really want to look in terms of presentation. Here we have another bedroom. Do you see these fragmented mirrors? This is not good, because what it does when you look in it, it fragments the image in front of it. So it's all disconnected. And the last thing you want to feel when you're sleeping or when you're with somebody is disconnected. You don't want to feel like that. So the front entrance is also important, like I suppose how we present ourselves in public, how we come across, I guess, whether you like it or not, is often how people want to read us. and we can read things wrongly, can't we? We could go through this door and it would be a complete mess. Who knows? But you know, how you present yourselves with some degree of balance. You know, have some plants outside that are living and fresh, and lights to lighten the road. I'm not suggesting you put a yin yang symbol, but can you see this idea of balance? Here we have maybe a better design, it's more realistic, but those beautiful pots and colourful door. Orange being the colour of the stomach and self-esteem, which is why a lot of the Buddhist monks wear this colour, is to deal with, you know, self-love, I guess, and esteem is good. And also the colours from the lights and the stained glass. So while we have a white background, we have colour here, and the colours often represent the elements. So green is wood, orange is earth, white is metal. We've got the earthenware anyway, these are ceramic pots. And water, we can't see any water there, but this could be blue when it's lit up. So blue is, or black is to do with water. So we've got the 5 elements working at the front entrance. Also numbers play a very important part. So normally we'd add up the number here and we'd get number 7, which is a good number in Feng Shui numerology. Then the kitchen, same thing about the bedroom. You have to engage in what's in your kitchen so that it's exuding a sense of health and well-being. And we tend to have lots of magnolia white kitchens these days. So that's why you would need some colour in there, even if it's in the form of flowers. On this dining table, if you had food, then a mirror here would be very auspicious because you're doubling the amount of health and wealth on the table. So that's where Feng Shui really started to kind of initiate its first impact, is creating health, really. It was about health, because health is wealth, isn't it? So making sure that there is nothing distracting or obstructing in the kitchen, especially when it comes to preparing your meal. So the benefits of these PowerPoints is to focus on areas that really matter to you for your health and well-being, your bedroom and the kitchen. And obviously when you return to your entrance, you know, how do you feel as you put the key in the door? Is this a place you want to be? Is this a place of foreboding? It's an opportunity also with the PowerPoints to take care of yourself, because all self-love leads to more love. If there's nothing in the bank or nothing in the packet, then nothing more comes or is attracted to it. It's like wealth. When you've got some wealth, you attract more. The same for love. When you have some love, you attract more. When there is no love, you attract none. Same for health, sleep, and attraction. These are all the aspects that you can hope to experience as a result of focusing on those PowerPoints in your property. And finally, Feng Shui key number 5, placement. Well, what does that mean? Well, this is the Bagua tool used in Feng Shui. There are 3 or 4 different schools of Feng Shui, by the way. The earliest one was known as the Form School, which is to do with the landscape in and around a property. But we're not dealing with that today. We're dealing with the Compass School, and that is taking compass points of your home, and this will determine where you locate aspects of your life. There's 9 different areas of your life. Where is the relationship area? It's in the southwest. Where is the south? Because that's to do with your, I've put here fame, but it's really to do with your Oscar moment. So this is a place where you may want to put all your trophies and all the things that you're famous for or you feel good about. Just getting back to placement, this is a home I saw with a guy in it. He had 17 of these pictures, all different women, but they were all geisha girls, and they were all over the home. And this created a sense of fragmentation because there was no consistency. It wasn't the same woman. There were 17 different kinds of women. And this man never, ever was able to stay with one woman. He was a serial dater. And since moving out of this property, I've subsequently heard that he has got married. So can you see how when you create fragmentation on the walls of your home, this is the message that it relays? And if you think about it, advertising and marketing are multi-billion pound industries, and what they put up on the tubes, the subways right across the world, is having a subliminal effect upon us all. And this is no different. What you put up in your home has um, no different effect. It is influencing you subliminally all the time. So this is an opportunity now for you to take control and decide, what is your life going to be about? Who are you going to attract into it? You want to attract some nice aromas. People are affected by aromas. I'm not talking about put on double the amount of cheap perfume. I'm talking about, what is it you want to create? The lilacs, the geraniums, the roses. Okay, for the guys listening to this, you might want the more musky sandalwood, cedarwood aromas. And that's really pertinent to how you want to exude a great energy and a great aroma. Because if you want duality, if you want another entity into your life, then all around you has to actually support that. So images of things of two is what you want to pull in to your life through your environment. Even in your garden, images of two, connectedness, duality. They can be separate, but they can be together. It's coming together at the right times and being able to go away, but still in spirit with each other. Not like this, separate. So you're looking for connectedness and togetherness and cooperation. So that unfortunately we can't go back and start a new beginning. We've all probably got a story of the past. But anyone can start today and make a new ending. Is that you? So let's recap. We're going to clear away the old clutter, anything that's obstructing our corridors, hallways, rooms, especially the bedroom. We're going to cleanse the energetic web. I talked about the space clearing. You're going to get into the right direction and focus on the southwest. You're going to discover the right time for you, and you're going to use your own PowerPoints. And that is what it is, in 5 keys, Feng Shui keys, to attract that special relationship. So you can already get started. Now, some people, even though they've heard this, they still need a little bit of help. They think, how do I get started? So do you want to know how you can get started really fast and get some help and support in doing it? Because I have put together a step-by-step instruction on how to implement this strategy, and you can do it right now. Because then you're going to become the architect of your own energetic vibration far sooner and get started with the life you've always wanted. So what I've put together is this. I've put together 7 webinars, and I'll start off by talking about the introduction to Feng Shui, so you're not completely in the dark about what exactly it is. And so the benefit to that is that you start at the beginning, because webinar 2, I'm going to show you how to clear out the old and make way for the new. And this is where you're visibly going to really see the difference. You're going to see the changes. You can see it, I can guarantee you, within 24 hours. The people who've got back onto me on Skype and told me what they've done, sometimes they've even said, as they're listening to me, they're clearing their desks. And they can visibly see the difference. And these are the benefits, is that once you can see something, you can start to feel differently. And in webinar 3, I'm going to show you how to do those rituals so that you can alter the energetic debris that you cannot necessarily see in your property, but you can certainly feel it. You can feel the changes, can't you? The shift of that energy is all done as a result of these rituals. And they're not, you're not having to do any praying if you don't want to. You can leave that completely out of the dynamic. But the benefit is that you feel lighter and the space feels greater. And in webinar 4, we're going to use the 5 elements to attract that right one. So we're going to look a little bit closer at the 5 elements and find out what your element is and the kind of element you wish to attract into your life. The benefit is that you're not going to be attracting anymore people who are not right for you. You're going to get into the right groove, the right element, and you're going to know what that element of that person is, so that there are no more mismatches and no more conflicts of a difference in energy. And webinar 5, how to find your relationship map. Well, what does that mean? Well, remember I showed you that bagua, the plate. Well, we're going to have a look at which are your best locations in your own home using your date of birth for finding out where you need to focus in your home. Is it the southwest? Is it the east? Is it the west? And it's then when you know where that is, you can actually then set things up in that environment, in that area, which will remind you of what it is you want to attract, what kind of person. Webinar 6, PowerPoints of a relationship in your home. Well, we'll look a little bit closer at the bedroom. We'll look a bit closer at how does the entrance need to look and feel? How does the kitchen need to feel? What can you put up there that brings in that special person into your life? And the benefits are that when the person is invited into your home, they will feel that right away. They will feel the kind of person that is resonating and wants to be with you. And finally, webinar 7. Once again, it's all about timing. It's not just about the space. It's about finding out what year you are in and going with the flow of the years and basically capitalizing on the energy of that year. And if nothing else, what this gives you in the timing aspect is it gives you the opportunity to plan and to be focused and move on in your life. It's not just the 7 webinars. You're also going to get 12 months email access to me. Now, the value of that is $5,000, but it doesn't stop there. There you are. You have them all again. For those taking up on this opportunity, you're going to get bonus 1, which is a space clearing and a Feng Shui ebook. And that ebook is all about the 5 Feng Shui keys to attract that special relationship. So you can refer back to what it is we're doing, what journey we're on. Now that's valued at $50. And these are the things we're going to look at: clutter, space, location, timing, PowerPoints. Bonus 2, Skype call with me, personally, one-on-one for 3 hours. You don't have to use the 3 hours all in one go. It can be half an hour here, an hour in a few months' time to get back to me to tell me how you've improved. And that's valued at $500. That's like a personal consultation. People up till now, they've actually shown me on camera where they're living so I can make comments. That's right, it's a wake-up reminder. How many of us have suffered because we haven't had anyone to give us a nudge to get started or move on from where we are? And nobody else is going to do this. Once the course is over, it's often left up to you. But I'm going to be there to make sure that you implement this so that you don't actually give up. You get to focus and you get to take action. That's valued at $50 also. So here's all the things you're going to get. You're going to get the 7 webinars, the 12 months unlimited email access. You're going to get a Feng Shui bonus ebook, a bonus Skype call, and a monthly blog reminding you to call to action. And of course, the value of all that is $6,000. And if you were to find the best person for you to connect with, wouldn't it be worth more than the weight of gold itself? So then, do you want to stop blocking the vibrations you need for love? When you commit to changes in your environment, what happens is that everything else starts to fall in. It's like a kaleidoscope. Everything else just shifts, just one notch. And if you want to implement this change immediately, well, this is the course for you. Because you can discover in the comfort of your own home how to feel lighter, less burdened, more focused, with greater clarity. And you're going to get results. So you can listen to these webinars, listen to what I've said, and go and do it. Come back and move on. You see, you're not going to have any more fear on getting started, because that's why I'm here. You don't want to wait for one day, because one day never comes. It's the now. It's the now you want to look at. So are you a now person? Which one would you prefer? 5 more years on online dating, trying to find the love of your life? Or move on to Feng Shui keys, 5 of them to attract that special relationship. And the thing is, here's why I'm going to give you an amazing offer today. When we have great results across the world with many people's stories of success like I've had, success becomes infectious and the vibration and the frequency goes global. Can you imagine all the people feeling great about themselves because they've set up their environment to feel good, to feel lighter, to get rid of their waste and their burdensome thoughts? Yeah. And think about this. The value of that is more than $699.7. It's worth its weight in gold. But at the moment, I'm not going to offer that. I'm going to offer this. So for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to offer that whole package to you for $297 today only. Now, this is a special offer because it will move on. It'll become $1,297 to be quite honest. And you can go, if you write down that connection there, that web page, you can go and find it for $297. But that's only today only. And imagine this, for just less than $1 a day, it's going to change your life. Imagine that. But only if you do it now. Which one would you prefer? 5 years of reading the books, pouring through them, 5 years of looking on the online dating and finding nobody and nothing, disappointed lovers, haven't come up to scratch. Why? Because when you meet them, they never resonate the very energy they purport to resonate on a page, on an internet site. But if you read 5 Feng Shui keys to attract that special relationship, you don't need to trail through all those people, because when you're resonating from a certain energetic level, you will meet that person that you want to meet, who's also on that resonating level and that vibration. And that's why this is gold. Would you take it for free? Of course you would. And that's what you're doing. Because the thing is that if you don't like what I say, if you think it's a whole load of baloney, then you know what? In 30 days' time, you can bring it back. And I'll give you your money back. Simple as that. You can't be more fair than that, can you? And also, if you're listening to this and maybe you're already in a relationship, but you know somebody else who, has longed for that special person in their life, or just can't quite connect with the person that's good enough for them, then how about giving them this gift voucher? $297. Great present. Whether it's Christmas, Valentine's, doesn't matter. Birthday even. So go to that webpage at fengshuimastery.net/5keys/ you can actually offer somebody a fantastic gift. And that could be you, that person. You see, opportunities knock on doors with good vibes. People go on about luck. They've got no luck. They've had a whole space of bad guys. Or women, a whole space of bad women. Or just generally relationships, But there is a pattern to this. And there is a thing called luck. And some of that luck you make yourself. And it's only when you alter the good vibrations within yourself and within your own environment that opportunities knock on doors with good vibes. Thank you everybody for listening to 5 Feng Shui keys to attract that special relationship. You can get back to me on wealthyspaces@gmail.com. My name's Kathy. You can ask me anything that you may have missed out. Have time to reflect on this, but in essence, this is a great opportunity to get an ebook, get time with myself on Skype, and to look at those webinars and implement. I'm here to help you implement those shifts in your life. And I'm looking forward to hearing back some of the great results I know you're going to pick up from Feng Shui and the 5 Feng Shui keys to attract that special relationship. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being open-minded, and all the best. Thank you. Bye.